Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, I did a video, which I will leave linked here, on why Marvel Comics is going downhill. But interestingly enough, today, we've got a statement to the contrary, how it may be pushing it in the other direction, but then also another piece of news which seems to go, yeah, this is leading it to ruin as well. So, let's get into it. Ike Perlmutter, for those that don't know, notoriously bad bloke, may apparently be saving Marvel Comics. And again, he's notoriously a bad bloke. Not a nice chap. Really poo-poo. Not a nice guy. And we'll read this whole article because he goes into some good details about why he's notoriously not a good bloke. And I think you'll find it interesting, but then you'll also find it interesting how Perlmutter is saving the Marvel Comics brand. And as well, just to say straight off the bat, Perlmutter is basically what I would consider old Hollywood elite. That's the best way to describe him. So, we may have an unsung hero in the form of Ike Perlmutter, the eccentric Disney billionaire who just may have gone so far as saved Marvel Comics. Perlmutter, whom Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige booted from being involved with the movies and was blamed for massively interfering with MCU by both James Gunn and the Russo brothers, as well as the various Hollywood trade sites. Perlmutter, who has been accused of being responsible for cancelling and killing off Fox, Marvel, X-Men and Fantastic Four properties in the comics, gaming and merchandise, because he didn't like the fact that Fox had them, he couldn't have them back, and he didn't want them to profit from them. He didn't want to push the brand further so they can then profit off of what they were creating, which is business, I guess. Perlmutter, who has been blamed for there being no female Marvel movies or action figures, like I said, old Hollywood elite. Perlmutter, whom I even blamed for the downfall of Marvel Comics following the cancellation of Nova and Guardians of the Galaxy years ago, with me having recommended that all of Marvel Comics come under Kevin Feige. Boy, am I regretting that now. This is the writer of this, Matt McGloin. That was wrong, wasn't it? Definitely not Matt Goblin. Perlmutter, who has played the villain role opposite Kevin Feige's MCU champion for years. Now, Ike Perlmutter may actually be the hero that we all need, but don't deserve. So here we go. It's not a surprise, ladies and gents, but Kevin Feige's MCU continues with its PC direction. While Feige's MCU Phase 4 plans continue to go in a leftist and politically correct direction, it is learned that Ike Perlmutter is going in the opposite direction with Marvel Comics, which has been going that very same route as Feige's new MCU for even longer, and it's been going downhill, not been selling well at all. Because the people that watch the movies are not the people that buy the comics. So it's all well and good trying to get all PC for the movies. That's fine. You keep making your money on the movies. But the comics, no. It doesn't work like that, mate. You do have to cater to that audience. The people that watch the movies don't read the comics. Very few of them do. THR hints, The Hollywood Reporter, that Perlmutter is responsible for putting the kibosh and forcing Mark Waid to change a PC-oriented Captain America essay that was supposed to be released in today's issue of Marvel Comics number 1000. The essay is quite funny. Marvel Comics actually went so far as to include Wade's original leftist rant in preview copies made available to retailers, but the final printed version that is available today is much different. Because boy, did they make him change it. Mark Waid forced to change Captain America essay. Here are excerpts of the two different versions where we see Waid was forced to cave. So much for standing up for what he believes in. I love the little jabs there. So here's the original. Basically, it's a tirade about how flawed America is, basically. The system isn't just. We've treated some of our own abominably. Worse, we've perpetuated the myth that any American can become anything, can achieve anything through sheer force of will, and that's not always true. This isn't the land of opportunity for everyone. The American ideals aren't always shared fairly, yet without them we have nothing. America's systems are flawed, but they are our only mechanism with which to remedy inequality on a meaningful scale. Yes, it's hard and bloody work, but history has shown us that we can, bit by bit, right that system when enough of us get angry, when enough of us take to the streets and force those in power to listen, when enough of us call for revolution and say injustice will not stand. This is a fucking Marvel writer, ladies and gents. This is a Marvel Comics writer. Laughable. And then he changed it to this. It's a commitment to fight every day for justice, for acceptance and equality, and for the rights of everyone in this nation. At its best, this is a good country, filled with people who recognise that those, not hatred, not bigotry, not exclusion, are the values of true patriotism. It's quite a change, isn't it, mate? Good country, values of true patriotism. Wow. Is this the Mark Wade we are talking about? Mark Wade, who goes on these strange and weird rants on social media. Mark Wade, who recently accused an African-American YouTuber of being a white supremacist. Oh yes, ladies and gents. Fuck. Yes, ladies and gents. Because apparently, people that are African-American can't not hate white people, or can't not hate. It's just unbelievable. And it cracks me up when the automatic go-to is you're a white supremacist. And then if you say, well, no, it's clearly not the case, they say, well, it's internalized oppression then. Whatever you need to justify it to yourself, you moron. Please keep doing it because it makes me laugh. Whatever you need to justify it to yourself. Mark Wade, who allegedly went behind a YouTuber and Marine veteran's back to get that young man's comic book cancelled, with Wade now in a heated lawsuit over those allegations. Is this the same man? So all it took for Wade to change gears was to have Pearl Mutter, a known friend to Trump, and ironically enough involved with Trump's Department of Veteran Affairs, to ask for the changes. Oh, you've been bitch slapped. You've been bitch slapped. Hollywood pretenders. This sounds eerily familiar to what happened with James Gunn, who, too, caved and stopped tweeting his political rants once Disney fired him. And obviously Gunn has been rehired. But it's interesting because this isn't the case, right? You've got Bishakea Ali, who's deleted all her tweets, privatised her media. You've got the Marvel VP, I did the video on yesterday, which I'll leave links up here, or I already have, who keeps tweeting awful stuff as well. So it's not always universal. Or how about having completed his Marvel contract and the Avengers Endgame having been released? Chris Evans also went on some weird leftist political rant. Or how about Captain Marvel, Brie Larson and Ms. Marvel showrunner Bishakea Ali complaining about white dudes but working for them? And of course, not mind getting paid millions by them. Ditto for Chris Evans. The hypocrisy is just at its utter finest. I love it. You moan. Like Bishakea Ali's called for white genocide. But you're working with known Hollywood elitists. But yet you're calling for white genocide? Sorry, what? Sorry, what? What? Unbelievable. Or how about Feige continuing to replace classic Marvel characters with PC characters while lying about it all? And Ike Perlmutter is the bad guy. Kevin Feige is an evil supervillain. What a narrative that has unfolded that paints Perlmutter as some evil villain while Feige has been the superhero, when it seems the opposite is actually true. Now that is a villain plot straight out of the comics, if there ever was one. The report from The Hollywood Reporter makes mention of Marvel is not allowing its publications to take a political stance, which follows 2 weeks ago Marvel Comics turning down Art Spiegelman's essay that made mention of an orange skull for Marvel, the Golden Age. It's further said that Marvel Comics is trying to stay apolitical. Then you should get your writers off of the internet, shouldn't you? The news of the changes to Marvel Comics follows huge fan backlash, with sales having tanked. Many local comic book shops having closed their doors in recent years as a result of poor sales. Not just from Marvel Comics, but DC Comics and other publishers, all of which have been going that very same PC route. It's true. This very website was actually in part created as a result of one of my favourite Marvel comic characters, Quasar, getting replaced by a PC character at the end of Annihilation way back in 2005-2006. So, it's interesting. Now, I'm not going to talk about comic gates or anything like that. But then he goes on to say, look, put Ike Perlmutter in charge of the MCU. I don't think you should. I don't think that's the case at all. Definitely don't put him in charge of the MCU, because we would have less good movies like that. Because he's a very unscrupulous man. He just wants he wants as much money as possible. So he's the result he's the reason why we had such formulaic movies. But then we go on to talk about this. Marvel Comics writer Kate Leth endorses nerve gas attack on David Koch's funeral. Marvel Comics writer Kate Leth called for a nerve gas attack at the funeral of David Koch, or Koch. Leth took to Twitter to celebrate David Koch's death. Cohen burst out of the bathroom exclaiming this and is now dancing to "You Make My Dreams Come True." Oh my god. She would then write, "Somebody should release nerve gas at their funeral." Ah, I love them. This is a writer, ladies and gents, for Marvel Comics. Leth has made controversial comments on Twitter before, but nothing to this extent. She called actor James Wood a bigoted shitbag, I'd imagine. She also attacked Avengers Infinity War for a lack of LGBTQ representation. This is a comic book writer! It's a comic book writer! What are you doing? Marvel, get your people under control. Leth wrote the most recent Patsy Walker, aka Hellcat series for Marvel Comics. She also written comics for Dynamite, Boom Studios, Dark Horse, and IDW. She also made the transition to animation, doing work including My Little Pony, Equestria Girls, Littlest Pet Shop, A World of Our Own, Transformers Cyberverse, and Crunchyroll's High Guardian Spice. So look, interesting, right? We've got some people saving it, and we've got others still leading to its ruin. What do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this. So let me know down below in the comics section. There's no comic section here on this channel. There's a comment section. Leave your comments down below. If you are new here, hit subscribe. Hit the bell notification if you liked and enjoyed this video. And do like it and please do share it. But as always, I have been Mr. H. Take care.